Chapter 1. Prelude to Battle. In the summer of 1917, World War I was raging across Europe. The Western Front, a series of trenches that stretched from the English Channel to the Swiss border, had become a symbol of the brutal and unrelenting nature of modern warfare. The British Expeditionary Force, along with their allies, had been locked in a bitter stalemate with the German army for 3 long years. As the war dragged on, both sides sought to gain an advantage. British Field Marshal Sir Douglas Haig believed that capturing the high ground around Passchendaele in Belgium would break the deadlock and provide a launching point for an offensive towards the Belgian coast, which was occupied by the Germans. Haig hoped this offensive would force the Germans to divert troops away from the French front, where the French army was in a dire situation. Chapter 2. The Battlefield. The region around Passchendaele was characterized by its flat terrain, crisscrossed with drainage ditches and canals. Heavy rains had turned the landscape into a quagmire, and the soil was a mixture of clay and silt, making it difficult for soldiers and heavy artillery to move. The area was also heavily fortified by the Germans, who had the advantage of higher ground. Chapter 3. The Opening Moves. On July 31, 1917, the British launched the Battle of Passchendaele. The initial phase of the battle saw some success as British and Commonwealth forces advanced and captured several objectives. However, progress was slow, and casualties were mounting on both sides. The rains continued to fall, turning the battlefield into a muddy hell. Chapter 4. Stalemate and Suffering. As the battle wore on, the conditions on the battlefield deteriorated further. Soldiers on both sides struggled through knee-deep mud, facing relentless artillery fire, machine gun nests, and poison gas attacks. The casualty rate was staggering, and the gains made in the early days of the offensive were minimal. Chapter 5. Canadian Valor. In October, the Canadian Corps, under the command of General Arthur Currie, took over the assault on Passchendaele. The Canadians faced some of the worst conditions of the battle, but displayed remarkable courage and determination. They managed to capture the village of Passchendaele itself on November 6, 1917. Chapter 6. The Cost of Victory. While Passchendaele had been captured, the cost of this victory was immense. The Battle of Passchendaele had resulted in an estimated 325,000 Allied casualties and 260,000 German casualties. The gains were small compared to the human toll and the terrible conditions endured by the soldiers. Chapter 7. Legacy and Reflection. The Battle of Passchendaele became a symbol of the futility and horror of World War I. The muddy, bloody fields of Passchendaele came to represent the senseless sacrifice of a generation. It served as a reminder of the high human cost of modern industrial warfare and the failure of military strategies that often prioritize territorial gains over the well-being of soldiers. In the years following the war, the Battle of Passchendaele became an enduring symbol of the Great War's senseless brutality, and the Commonwealth War Graves Commission established cemeteries and memorials in the region to commemorate the fallen. The battle's legacy endures as a somber reminder of the horrors of war and the importance of peace. Chapter 8. Conclusion. The Battle of Passchendaele, with its tragic narrative of suffering and sacrifice, remains a poignant chapter in the history of World War I. It stands as a testament to the resilience and courage of the soldiers who fought in one of the most grueling battles of the 20th century, and as a stark reminder of the high price of war.